How much are you worth? How much value do you have? See, no one wants to feel worthless. Everyone wants to be valued. And often we ask ourselves, how can we define value? How can we define what it means to be someone who has worth? Society tells us that we have to have this or that, or we have to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And if we don't meet those expectations, then we have no value. Then we have no worth. And that's a very unhealthy view of self-worth. See, it often results in us comparing ourselves to others. We say, well, I have to be just like so-and-so in order to be valuable. Or I have no worth unless other people assign value to me. Or maybe we even place other expectations on ourselves that are likely unattainable. You see, if that's how we view self-worth, if we define self-worth by what other people think, if other people have placed value on us, or these expectations we've given ourselves, then we will develop an unhealthy view of self-worth. Whether it's a high self-worth or a low self-worth, if it's based in things that are outside of God, then they are meaningless. You see, if we can learn to find worth and comfort in knowing that God has placed an immeasurable amount of value on us, then we will develop a healthy, never-ending self-worth that is positive. See, Romans 5 says that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. In that same chapter, Paul writes that while we were still enemies, while we were still enemies, while we were still sinners, while we wanted nothing to do with God, He still cared for us. He still loved us and placed so much value on us is that I want to be with Him forever one day, so I'm going to devise a plan. I'm going to design a plan where my son is going to have to go to the cross and die as a sacrifice for their sins so that I can be with Him forever. What an amazing amount of value that He must have placed on us to have that sort of love for us. And we should be able to find comfort and purpose in knowing that He cares for us. And because of that value, because of that love He's shown us and that worth that He's given us, we should do what it takes to please Him. We should become more like His Son. 1 Peter says that for to this you have been called, for Christ also suffered, leaving you an example that you might follow in His steps. Let's find comfort in knowing that He has placed value in us, and let's embrace that value by becoming more like His Son. This has been This Thursday 3. We'll see you guys next week.